Hey, my family and friends and fellow patriots out there. I don't know. I imagine a lot of you see what's going on right now at Trump Towers, and I'll tell you what, I've had more than enough. I had enough a long time ago. I don't even want to say on here what I think should be done, but I'll bet a lot of you agree with me. And I've had enough of these terrorist assholes in our country. I don't want any of them here. I don't give a shit they were born here. I don't want them here. Or lock them up. Do whatever you got to do with them. This is going to get somebody killed. They're burning down Tesla dealerships. Innocent people, innocent children. These people are sociopaths. These people are disgusting. Let's check this out.
News now. Protesters in New York City have found a new favorite address, and they are occupying not just the streets outside, which you can see this is a chopper shot that we cannot take control over. So we wish that this helicopter would pull out, because you'll see people at the top of the screen beyond our banners. There are many of them. Some of them have made their way into occupying the lobby at Trump Tower. This is in protest of the arrest and detainment of Mahmoud Khalil. Remember, he is a graduate student who was on the campus of Columbia University professing hate. We know that he was a very high-profile face along with groups on that campus who are pro-Hamas.
These people are aligned with Hamas. These people are representing Hamas. All right? That means they are already on the terror list. Hamas is already a terror list. These people are terrorists and need to be treated as such. This is bullshit. This cannot be allowed to go on. I'm telling you, innocent people are dying. I'll tell you what else. To all you liberals out there, I know whether you're as crazy as these people or not, I hope you're not, but this is going to radicalize people to go further right than you ever imagined. This is not going to work out the way you want it. My phone's going off the hook. People are pissed. And they've had, you think Trump's a moderate. I got bad news for you. Trump is a moderate compared to how most people feel right now. You're pushing your luck. You are playing with dynamite.
On Columbia. And when ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, picked him up, the protesting began. Now, some of it has not looked like protected speech or protests.
And no, that was not a threat to act like you animals. What I'm saying is we're going to send in the military. Our government is going to take control of this situation. This is not going to be allowed to happen. We are not going. What about the people in Trump Towers? What about the people there? What the hell are you think you're doing?
It's looked more violent than that, as people have pressed physically against NYPD officers in this city. Let's watch the video now. This is what happened inside. And can you hear them chanting? Listen carefully as we go to that. Free Mahmoud, free them all.
Free Mahmoud, free them all. Free Mahmoud, free them all. Free Mahmoud, free them all. Free Mahmoud, free them now. Never ever hang up. Never hang down. Never ever hang down.
So you hear them chanting, free Mahmoud, free them all. I'm wondering, Ari, who are they all? And if the world is watching our nation right now, and they know us as
they're watching.
A bastion of free speech, so on and so forth.
We look like fools.
When people feel under threat because of what you're saying, that's actually not protected speech.
That's right.
And look at some of the signage in here. I mean, they hate Israel. They hate Jewish Americans. They are anti-American.
I'll make two big points here. One, I'm going to start with the speech facade, the myth that this is about speech. What happened to Mahmoud Khalil had nothing to do with speech. It has everything to do with creating an encampment that is where Zionists are prohibited, where Jewish students are not allowed to walk on their own campus. These are crimes. These are deportable events. These are things that we would never tolerate. As for all these people who are now in Trump Tower, I hope that this administration will do what the Biden administration did to the January 6 people who walked inside the Capitol. They have the technology.
Absolutely.
Get their faces, match it up with the database, and if any of them are non-citizens, every one of them is trespassing. They all should be deported from this country, too.
But wouldn't they be trespassing any?
And let me tell you something else about January 6th. I'll get into that another day. But yes, everyone on January 6th should have been pardoned. Every single one of them. And you know why? Because of entrapment. Entrapment. If you actually understand the legal definition of entrapment, that is having FBI agents there urging people to do things they may normally not have done. And that factually happened. And if you don't believe that happened, you're an idiot. I can't help that. It's been proven a million times. Somebody on the left's going to, oh, prove it. How do you know that? Because we know it. Everyone knows it. It is a proven fact. So that's entrapment. So yes, those people should have all been released, no matter what their offenses were. That's the law. All right? These people are not being entrapped. These people are doing this of their own volition. This was their idea. They gathered to go do this. They gathered to go attack Tesla dealerships, burn down cars, light buildings on fire, shoot at them. What happens when some secretary has to go back in one night at a Tesla dealership because she forgot some paperwork and she leaves her 2 kids in the car because she's only going to be a couple minutes? And I don't mean babies, but I'm talking like an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. You would let them sit in the car for a couple minutes, wouldn't you? You're going to walk in, you're going to grab a folder, you're going to walk out. And some son of a bitch throws a Molotov cocktail at it or starts shooting. That's where this is headed. That's why these scumbags need to be stopped and stopped immediately.
Anyway, if they are causing people to fear, there are people who pay to live in that residence. There are businesses on that floor of the lobby. This is not a safe situation. If you are Jewish in that building, do you feel safe?
Well, whether you feel safe, don't feel safe, whatever the legal remedy is to give the State Department under Marco Rubio's leadership, who took action against Mahmoud
at
Khalil,
a federal level,
any of these people are not citizens. They should be deported. We have to have a new way of approaching this. The streets of New York have got to stop getting shut down on a regular basis, interfering with ambulances and fire departments and people trying to get to their jobs. We don't have to have mayhem in our streets because these people, the face of the Democrat Party, are pro-Hamas.
Well, and this looks like, Lisa, this looks like what we saw in Columbia University last year with the tents. Those T-shirts were printed. Come on, this is not an accident that people with identical T-shirts show up at Trump Tower and then they occupy the lobby.
Yeah, it's quite a point.
I mean, coincidence is interesting.
Where do you think those signs came from?
Well, yeah, I mean, they hate Israel, obviously, in the West.
Where do you think this money came from?
But I think it's hilarious that they believe this is going to have any impact on President Trump, a guy who survived an assassination attempt and then took the stage at the Republican National Convention.
It is going to have an effect. It's going to have an effect on President Trump. It's going to have an effect on every normal human being in this country that's fed up with it. And it's going to be the opposite effect of what they want. Every one of them should be declared terrorists. I am done with them. Just like they used the RICO Act to break up the mob, then you use the terrorism acts to go against these people. These people are part of it. They're an organized part of it. They want to be part of it. Then treat them as such.
Convention just days later. So this is going to have zero impact on him. He's not swayed at all. So you're wasting your time, people out in the streets. But look at who the left makes their heroes, right? This guy.
Yes.
Hamas, George Floyd, Jacob Blake, a guy who pulled a knife on a police officer. So they have some strange heroes. And then look who they won't stand up for when you look at President Trump's speech to Congress.
She's going right where I was thinking what she was saying, but they wouldn't stand up for this little kid, a 13-year-old kid fighting brain cancer. They wouldn't stand up for families that lost their children. One little girl, I don't even want to describe what happened to the one little girl. I think she was 12 years old. It's beyond disgusting. I brought a tear to my eye that night when they honored her. And the other woman, she's 20 years old, it's the college student. It is unbelievable. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of what's happened here. These people love that. These people love that. These people are These people represent pure evil. This is Satanism. And this isn't some kid pretending some satanic thing because he's trying to be cool and draw something on his notebook at school. This is real Satanism. All right? This is the real deal stuff. This is evil incarnate.
A 13-year-old with cancer, Blake and Riley, right? So this tells you everything about their values, and they're totally misaligned with the rest of America.
Look, there was a representative we had on the show last week, Representative Gooden of Texas, and he was the person who ripped the sign out that said this is not normal as President Trump was walking into that joint congressional address. And he said, look, when you've had enough, you've just had enough. So America has had enough. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and President Trump have had enough. Will the Democrats ever have enough of this kind of hate?
Yeah, I watched a video of one.
I've had enough. Have you had enough? I know you've had enough.
Mahmoud Khalil's, I mean, he has like a dozen attorneys.
It's a lot.
Appeared to be an attorney saying that the wife said, my husband was kidnapped. Okay, the American government does not kidnap people, first of all. Your husband is getting his student visa taken away. And you mentioned Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said, this is not about free speech. Nobody has a right to a student visa. Nobody has a right to a green card. And that is exactly right.
Imagine going to another country and talking about destroying that country, talking about burning that country down. That's what this guy was talking about. When he says burn that country down, he's talking about you and I. He's talking about your family. This is a declaration of war from these people. And these people are a joke. But they're not a joke when they come up, they sneak up and they start doing terrible things, because I'm telling you, there's going to be that scenario where two little kids are in one of those cars. There's going to be some awful things that happen here soon. If this has to be clamped down on instantly with the full force of the law. I'm talking full force. I'm talking send the Marines in there right now. I am done with these scumbags.
You put the statute on your show, Harris, the Immigration and Nationality Act, I believe it was yesterday. If you are suspected of articulating a viewpoint or pushing forward or helping a terrorist group, there are different nuances with the exact wording. You can get your visa yanked away. And by the way, the Supreme Court is very friendly to arguments about national security as it pertains to the federal government.
Excellent point.
It is their purview.
Section 237A4C of the Immigration and Nationality Act, if you should want to look it up. I try to read it out loud every day.
By the way, he wasn't kidnapped. He's getting a free flight to Syria. He shouldn't complain.
And he can stay there. And the rest of them should get a free flight too. Give them all a free flight. The ones that keep talking about Ukraine, send them over to Ukraine. They support Ukraine so much. Go to Ukraine. Ukraine will take you. They'll throw you on the front lines to die like they killed everyone else over there. They were just grabbing people off the street. You know, did you ever see the shots of that, the videos of that? After they ran out of all their young kids because they killed them all on the front lines, they started grabbing middle-aged guys, then older guys. They're just grabbing everybody, sending what? There's piling bodies up. Making no headway, just piling bodies up. Trump is the only one that can bring peace to this world. And it has to be, as it's been said many times, peace through strength. Look, I'm not even going to go any further with this. I wasn't even planning on jumping on here right now and doing this, but I see this happening. I felt I had to bring it to everyone's attention in case somebody's not seeing it out there. And, boy, I don't know what to tell you, but I've repeated it so many times here, and I do that when I get angry because I'm really angry right now. I'm really angry. You know, I got a young daughter. I got a young son. They're not little kids. They're not little guys anymore, but they're young enough, or they'll always be my little guys, right? But they're certainly young enough. I can't imagine if my daughter had to be around these animals, and it can happen. She could be somewhere. These things could show up. Now, they probably regret it if they did that to my son. But I am so done with this, so done with it. I know you are too. I'm going to let it go for right now, but I'm not going to let it go. Well, I love you. Be safe. May God be with us all, I'll tell you. May God bless America. I love you, and Twisted is out.